I always say, whenever somebody asks me, they say, what's your favorite piece? And I'll say, it's whatever I just finished, usually. Tossed around a few things, you know, what we wanted to put in here, and finally settled in on the ram, because the rams come down in the backyard practically off the monument. Then we decided scale, you know, because it's got to be big for a big house and the rocks behind it. So 1.5 size is what I went to, which is a size I like to work in. Just started picking poses. I started looking at photographs and picking poses of a stately ram standing up on a rock, and that's kind of what we went with.
It's been a dream come true for us to build this place up here in the base of the monument.
He was still working on the house here, so he wasn't in a big rush, which was good for me because I was, as usual, way behind. Was able to get it done just as he's finishing up the house, which turned out to be really good. I think if we kind of scoot him around a little bit, he'll settle, and I think that'll probably be it. Let's get that center bar cleaned out, because it's going to go down too. The vision I had was to make it look like he's standing on the rocks. So I mean, even if it's a pile of rocks, it would be the same. My back won't take all this. Rock and roll.
Get my leg out of there.
Yeah, watch out for that big iron sheep.
The first thing that I was impressed with was the head and the horns, and just the wrapping of the horns and how the angle of the head was, and that was exactly what Jeff and I had talked about back over a year ago in the design of it. And so we were just in awe of how, you know, a year later this vision was standing before us.
Midway through the first one, I was thinking it was a terrible idea, because they were the most time consuming of this whole entire piece, but they're also the most important piece on a ram is his horns. That's what makes a ram a ram. So even though it was about 1.5 days on each horn of just heating and wrapping steel, it is like a big puzzle. And when I come in with pieces and parts, I'll go in my scrapyard and I'll grab a bucket full of parts and come in and dump it out, and I'll have parts that I think will work. Not every piece is going to fit like you think it's going to, and a lot of this is trial and error. You hold a piece up and you know, it would work, but it's not the perfect piece. And there's pieces that you find that you've got to use because they are important, like the beer opener on this one that says Coors on it. I mean, that's pretty special. And if it had to go on here.
We're like, oh my gosh, that's a lock, that's a shovel, and then there's even things that are hidden in there which are fun to discover as people see it for the first time.
There's just hundreds of little small pieces, bolts and nuts and screws and drill bits and sprockets.
I mean, we were just literally positioning it within the final inches to get the right vantage point. Of course, for us, we can see it out the back door of the house just perfectly, so we're very, very happy.
This is one of my favorite parts of the whole thing, is this hasp, this old hasp, because it lets you have access to the inside, and inside there's a heart. Because that's one thing the Tin Man didn't have. I want this guy to have a little heart. You know, a lot of times I don't know how it happens. I just put it together. It's just like a painter who paints. You know, you need a little bit of this color, a little of that color. You know, got to represent the light a certain way. It's the same thing with steel.